Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Hello, good afternoon. I'm so excited to be here today. Oh my goodness, I have some tea to spill, and you know that when I have tea to spill, it's all exciting stuff, right? So grab your tea and let's have fun. All right, guys. So this tea is very hot, it's creamy, and of course, it's legal. Welcome everyone to our Facebook Live video. If you're watching this video on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Yeah, you can also find me on Facebook. Just type in Poku Law and follow and like my page for all the updates. Guys, so I'm going to be giving you some interesting stuff that is happening on Capitol Hill. And there's going to be some voting that is going to be happening on Thursday. That today is Wednesday, so tomorrow there's going to be voting happening in the House of Representatives concerning the Immigration Reform 2021. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about. I think that today's video might be a little bit long. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. Let's just dive right into it and start. So we're going to be talking about two bills here. So stay with me and let's go. Olamide, you are very welcome. Hello, Olamide Adibayo. You're so welcome. I appreciate you joining us today. Yeah, so today we're still talking about the U.S. immigration reform. I'm here to give you guys an update on what's happening. There's some interesting things that are happening. I've been getting lots of messages that attorney, can you update us on the amnesty and the U.S. Citizenship Act 2021? So this is an exciting and interesting update. So let's start. You know that when President Joe Biden came, he introduced the U.S. Citizenship Act 2021. It's a very a bold reform, to repair the immigration system here in the U.S. But they have decided, the Democrats have decided to pass the immigration reform bill in piecemeal fashion. So I'm not here to, tell you the news. I'm actually here to give you the legal scoop on what is happening. And so they have broken down, from the U.S. Citizenship Act, they have broken down, they've broken down the U.S. Citizenship Act and they've picked out some parts of the bill that are standalone. So the first one we're going to be looking at is the Dream and Promise Act 2021. I have the text of the bill here. We'll be looking at it. They are voting on it tomorrow. And so I have a very exciting assignment for you guys at the end of the video. Remind me. And then the second thing they're voting on would be the Farm Workforce Modernization Act. Okay, they're voting on these things in the House of Representatives tomorrow. Okay, so that's what's happening. They'll also vote on the No Ban Act, but yeah, that we won't concern ourselves with that. So let's start with the Dream and Promise Act of 2021. So that is the text right here. This is what they're going to be introducing to the House of Representatives tomorrow for them to vote upon it. So the Dream and Promise Act is what will allow, number one, dreamers, and then number two, individuals with the temporary protected status and the deferred forced departure to of course, they give them a pathway to citizenship, and this will cover about 2 million undocumented people. Remember that the TPS and the DED are, very temporary legal statuses that are given to people who come from areas where there's unrest or there's some war, or so what the Secretary of State will designate, for example, let's say currently Venezuela has been designated as a TPS country. And if they designate your country as a TPS country or a TPS state, what it means is that you have 3 years here in the US. You are temporarily protected. You don't have to go back to your country. We understand that there's something extraordinary happening. There could be war or some extraordinary circumstance, some unrest, or whatever. And so stay here in the US, we can give you work authorization if you apply for it. Okay, so that's the TPS. And the DED, the deferred enforced departure, also designate states that some countries you don't have to go back because there's some craziness going on, and so we will defer your deportation, or we will keep you here in the US, if you want to, and then just get temporary protection from the United States. So that's the TPS and DED very shortly. I hope it makes sense. I'm just not trying to bore you guys to death. This is the legality, so we're going to make it as exciting as possible. Guys, stick with me. So the DREAM Act, these are going to be the features. What is going to happen is that the Dream and Promise Act is going to grant the dreamers a conditional permanent resident status, and this permanent resident status will be for 10 years, and it will also cancel removal proceedings. Okay, so they'll be granted a conditional permanent resident status. You know what conditional means? We've been talking about it here on this channel. If you have a conditional resident status, that means you'll have to apply later on to remove the conditions. So the condition is based on something. Okay, so here that means that it's for people who have been continuously present and physically present in the United States on or before January 1st, 2021. Remember the U.S. Citizenship Act? We spoke that if you were here in the U.S. and you had you were out of status, you qualify. So that's the same cutoff line, the cutoff date for dreamers. Okay, guys, you should have been here on or before January 1st, 2021, and then you were 18 years or younger on your first date of entry into the US, and then you are not inadmissible. It means that you are admissible. Okay, we have grounds of inadmissibility. I've also discussed that on this channel before. If you are somebody who commits crime, or you are a threat to the national security of the United States, you are inadmissible. It means that they don't want you here as a legal, somebody who's legally authorized to live and then work in the US. So you want to be careful of that if you are a dreamer. Let me go, let's scroll all the way down, well, not all the way down. Okay, so there are some grounds of inadmissibility, so we won't go through all of that. We just want to go through the main points. And then, yes, you also, other than state offense, for which an essential element is the person's immigration status, yes, you shouldn't have been convicted. Okay, so these are the types of convictions that you could have. Make sure you haven't been convicted of any of these offenses. Stay safe. You should also be a graduate from high school. And yeah, there's some conditions with the schooling. They just want to encourage you guys to go to school if you're a dreamer or you came here under the age of 18 and you're out of status. So you should be in school. You should make sure you're enrolled in school, and then you will also need to pass security and law enforcement background checks, and then you also pay for a reasonable application fee, and then you register for selective services if required. Selective services, the people who would have to go into the U.S. Army. If you have to be selected, then you will be. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, so let's find out the last qualification. It says here that additionally, there are certain temporary workers who arrived in the US at the age of 18. Okay, yes, so if you are the child or the offspring of a temporary worker, and you've been continuously present, you're eligible for relief. Some people come here to temporarily work and they bring their children along with them, and then they allow their their visas or their authorized state to elapse, and so the children become out of status. So that's what's happening. Guys, you're very welcome. Today we are spilling some hot tea, so I have the text of the law here. Okay, so let's continue, guys. Drop me the comments. I'll come look at them later. When I'm reading the laws like that, I like to be focused so that I give you guys what the actual laws are saying and I don't get distracted. So drop me some comments. I will come to the comments section later, and then I'll read your comments, and then we'll get interacting. Okay, so guys, let's move to the second part of the Dreamers legislation. In order to gain full lawful permanent resident status, so that's the LPR status, which is the green card, you need to first acquire a degree from a U.S. institution of higher education. That means, of course, college or whatever, or complete at least 2 years in good standing in a bachelor's degree, all of that. And then you need to also complete at least 2 years of military service. If you are discharged, receive honorable discharge. And then you need to also be employed for periods of time totaling 3 years at least, and at least 75% of the time you have employment authorization. What this simply means is that in order to remove the conditions of your green card, these are the things that you would need to do. Okay, so guys, let's jump to the other part of the text. We are making our way slowly down. Yes, this is the end. That's the end of it. So that's it. This is just the summary of what the bill contains, and the bill is known as the HR 6. That's the Dream and Promise Act of 2021. Every legislation has a short name, what it's known as. So this is known as the HR 6. So when you hear the HR 6 on the news or whatever, know that it's talking about the Dream and Promise Act. And guys, here's an interesting thing: the Dream Act is actually talking about the dreamers and the people that came here at that age, the young people. And then the Promise Act is talking about the TPS and DED. Okay, so the Promise refers to the people from the TPS countries and the DED who have been granted DED because of where they come from, and the Dreamers refer to the children, people who came here as children. Okay, so that's the Dream and Promise Act. And actually, in the U.S. Citizenship Act 2021, the full text of the act we have these two sections. We have the Dream Act, which is also under Title I, and then the American Promise Act. And the American Promise Act, I'm looking at this from my physical book here, from my the laws that I have printed out and I have been studying, just to be able to give you guys a real deal. So the American Promise Act is also part of the U.S. Citizenship Act. These have been taken out and they have been made into one, the Dream and Promise Act of 2021. Okay, this may make them feel more comfortable to pass this bill, because they are saying that the whole U.S. Citizenship Act 2021 is just too bold and too ambitious. So they've taken these two parts, the Dreamers and then the Promise, and they want to give these people legal status. So they're going to be voting on this tomorrow, Thursday. Guys, the assignment I have for you is that everybody, you have to contact your members of Congress and tell them to vote yes on these bills. We need to vote yes. Spread the word. They need to vote yes. Contact them. You can call them, you can email them, and then simply contact them and tell them, please vote yes tomorrow. I have a series of meetings after this live video, but hopefully I'm going to be putting out the contacts of the Congress, what you can probably put in text or how to couch it. You can always also Google. It's available to vote yes on the bill. The Dream and Promise Act is going to be giving 2 million people, approximately 2 million undocumented people, legalization. So, but of course, the voting needs to go through, as I keep saying, it's going to go through hoops. We're not there yet, but we need to just encourage the Congress people to vote yes, 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 yes. Okay, guys, now let's go to the second part that we're talking about today, the second bill that's going to be voted upon tomorrow in the House. Oh my goodness, this is, these are some really exciting times here in the US, and my oh my, I can't wait to see what the days ahead is. Let me take this out. We are going to another screen. We're going to be looking at the farmers, the Farm Workforce Modernization Act. Okay, that's the next one we're looking at. That's actually the final one. We're almost through, guys. Hang on tight. The right is I think this is it, right? Yes, this is it. Right here, right here, right here. So this text is actually, right from the House of Representatives, as you can see. This is an original text. As you guys know, I'm giving you guys the real tea, the real law. So stick with me. Still spelling some hot legal tea, guys. Okay, so we have the Farm Workforce Modernization Act. This is the second act that is going to be voted upon tomorrow by the House of Representatives, and we're keeping our fingers crossed. And what this act, let's talk about what this act contains, what the objective of this act is, and what it seeks to, do. So the whole point is that, America, we have to, Americans feed America, right? And they have noticed that there has been a diminished supply of U.S. workers who are willing to perform farm labor. People don't like to work on farms, guys, right? You want to dig and grow corn and just work on a farm. Many people don't like it, and people are not willing to work on farms. And so the American people here don't want to work on the farms, many of them. So they have need to actually rely on foreign workers, and this has met labor demands. And these foreign workers most of the time are undocumented. Of course, they take the jobs that nobody wants, and so they work their backs, they work really, really hard. And these are the people that were feeding America during the pandemic. And so that's the whole purpose, the Farm Workforce Modernization Act. Congress would like to, the Democrats or the Biden bill would like to give these farm workers who are out of status legalization, so that, we can make sure that they are so simply put, this is an economic tactic or an economic strategy. They don't want U.S. farms to go out of business and then affect the economy. So they also want to prevent America from actually relying on foreign countries for food supply. That's not what they want to do. So that's the whole point, because once they grant these people legalization, then we can be sure that, yes, Americans are going to be, they're not going to be hungry. Americans are not going to sleep on hungry stomachs. Americans are going to be well fed, and a well-fed mind, guys, you can be productive and you can, help America. So the first thing we're going to be looking at is that it will stabilize the agricultural sector and then preserve our rural heritage by ensuring that farmers will meet the demands, the labor needs. Okay. Then the Title 1, we'll talk about the Title 1, securing their domestic agricultural workforce. So this legal status will be available for the spouses and minor children, and then they will earn legal status through continued agricultural employment. So when you get, when you're a farm worker and then you're granted legal status, you can't see that, oh, hooray, now I don't want to work in the farm anymore, I'm better than the farm, and then you leave. You have to, the laws will make you continue working on the farm for a set period of time. So the first one is that it will provide a process for farm workers to seek a certain status. That's a certified agricultural worker. That's the status that they will have. And this will be a temporary status for people who have worked at least 180 days in agriculture over the last 2 years. So guys, this is not the time to run to farms and then try to pretend to be a farm worker. That won't cut it. You should have been working in the last 2 years, at least 180 days in agriculture. And so you can also indefinitely renew the CAW, that's a certified agricultural worker status, with continued farm work. So as you continue to work on the farm, at least 100 days per year, they will renew this CAW status. So guys, this is just to incentivize people to work on farms and give them legal status. Okay, and then the applicant, of course, as always, you have to undergo background checks and pass strict criminal national security bars. Remember that they're not looking to just have anybody and everybody coming to the US. They want to check that you're not a threat to national security, you're not a you don't have crimes of moral turpitude that speak to your character. They want good citizens and honest people, and people who are that have great virtues. So these are things that they're going to be looking out for. The other thing is that there's no requirements that workers do anything else, but long-term workers who want to stay can earn a pathway to a green card by paying $1,000 fine and engaging in additional agricultural work. Okay, so here this means that you can have a CAW, the Certified Agricultural Worker status, and it's a temporary status, and you can renew it indefinitely as you continue farm work. However, there's a pathway to citizenship. You'll pay $1,000 fine, and the fine is because you are, undocumented, or you have overstayed the terms of your visa. So once you pay the fine and then you comply with the additional requirements or the additional hurdles, you will be granted legalization. Okay, so guys, here it is. These are the additional things that okay, right here. Okay, so you will have to work. So workers with 10 years of agricultural work prior to the date of enactment must complete 4 additional years of such work. So if you have 10 years of agricultural work prior to the date of enactment of this bill, you have to complete 4 years, pay the fine, and then you get a green card. Or if you have less than 10 years of agricultural work prior to the date of enactment, you must complete 8 additional years of such work. Okay, so that's the that's the cost of the earning your pathway to citizenship. Let's take a look at the rest of the bill. Let me scroll down here. Okay, so this is the final part. We're almost through, guys, so stick with me. I hope you guys are having fun. Of course, we're spilling legal tea, so grab your tea and let's enjoy some law. So the other part of this bill is Title II. It ensures that an agricultural workforce. Okay, so the purpose of it is to ensure an agricultural workforce for the future. So this title, or this, when it says this title in the bill, it just means that this section of the law reforms the H-2A temporary agricultural worker program to provide more flexibility for employers, and then it also ensures critical protection for workers. Yeah, so it streamlines the H-2A visa process. I don't want to go into all of that, but essentially consolidates the filing process and then allows employers to file a single petition. So the H-2A type of visa is the visa that is the visa for agricultural workers. That's the visa you come on if you're coming to work as an agricultural worker. So that's the rest of it. So there you are, guys. We have discussed the 2 bills that are important to immigration reform to us. There are other things that they're going to be voting upon tomorrow as well. As I told you, the No Ban Act and some other bills. But this is what I wanted to discuss with you guys. So hold on. So that's the exciting news that I have for you. Tomorrow there's going to be some action on Capitol Hill, so we'll be staying tuned. The House of Representatives are going to be voting, and hopefully after all of this, we're going to know what's going to happen to the 11 million undocumented immigrants. We're not sure yet. I'll bring you an update on that. Today I'm just focusing on the Dream and Promise Act and the Farm Workforce Modernization Act. I'm just very excited about this, that finally tomorrow we're going to hear some news and see what's going on. That's going to give us a gauge as to what to anticipate for the 11 million undocumented immigrants. So please, as I said, remember to contact your members of Congress and tell them to vote yes on these bills. With that being said, let me read some comments. I know I have been okay, so we have Annie Opokwa who says, hi, hello, Annie. I'm so happy you joined us today. You're very welcome. Frank Daku Jane says, hello, Frank. You are so welcome. I appreciate you joining us. Oh, look who we have here, Francis Garbin. You're so welcome. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Francis Garbin. I appreciate your presence. Mr. Francis Garbin again says, great job. Thank you so much. This fills me with pleasure. I just love bringing you guys a legal scoop and everything else. We have Haruna Ingam who has joined us. Thank you so much, Haruna. You are so welcome to this live video. I hope you guys had fun. as I spilled all the legal tea. So guys, stay tuned, share this video. Don't forget to tell your friends that need any type of immigration law assistance to contact me, and I will be happy to help them. I represent clients all over the US. I'm located in the DMV area, and I handle all types of US immigration law cases. I can't wait to serve you if you have any type of problem. Of course, that's why I'm here. So contact me on 802-7800-564. I'm so unfortunately, my office line, the old one, we had a big problem with it. So this is our new office line. So please make sure you call us on this line, and then we will be happy to speak with you. Mr. Francis Gavin says, proud of you. Thank you so much. Your words mean a lot to me. Thank you for all your support, guys. And as usual, and as always, I will be here when you need me. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and let's see what happens tomorrow in the house. Take care and bye-bye.